All right, good morning, everybody. It is Monday morning, February the 2nd, Groundhog Day. Happy Groundhog's Day, everybody. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. It's clear skies right now here in Maryland. And I heard from somebody in Philadelphia that the forecast for Philly was also clear. So this means he could be seeing a shadow this morning. It's possible. It's possible. I don't know. Kind of hoping for not, you know, but what are you going to do? Could ride up there real quick and just sort of hover over him when he comes out. But on the bright side, it's 16 degrees. Believe it or not, that feels really good. I've got 3 deliveries today. And they're all in the van, so we got one big circle. The circle, it's like a donut. It's like a giant donut. Let's make sure we're all good here. We've got the cameras on. We got the text-to-speech is on. And the music's on, so we're all good. I did learn something yesterday that it's going to have me testing something probably over the next couple of days. And that is, I was watching someone else who is using the same broadcasting software that I am. I'm gonna do a video on this, like exactly how my setup is, like what I'm doing. But I figured I'd wait till I actually knew what I was doing before I would make that video. So I'm getting close to that. It's coming soon. As soon as I figure this somewhat out. But I want to improve the lag time. Like, I didn't know whether it was the text-to-speech software that was creating like it varies from 15 to 30 seconds. And every now and then it gets crazy and it's like a minute, which is totally ridiculous. But there is a lag between when you type something in the chat and I hear it. So we've got that thing going on. You know, have you ever watched like on the news where people are talking to somebody on the other side of the planet and it's only like 2 or 3 seconds, but there's that pause between when they ask the question and the other person actually hears it? So that's what's happening. And it's a little bit longer than I would like. I mean, I realize there's going to be some pause, but it's like 15 to 30 seconds. And I don't like that. That's a long time when you're waiting. So, the broadcasting application that I have, I'm using Prism Live. And let me go over here. I'm using Prism Live, and I do that. I won't get into all the reasons why I do that. Basically, it's because for me to broadcast on my phone and still be able to use my phone, I have to do that. I can't go directly into YouTube. They don't allow like a second application to be running. You can have it, I guess you could have it running in the background, but you couldn't go back to it without pausing the video. Like if you're doing broadcasting YouTube on your phone through their app, you have to, it has to be the top application. You can't run another app on top of it. So like if you wanted to make a phone call, you can't open your phone and use it, or if you wanted to, you know, that kind of thing. Anyway, so I use Prism for that. And I think that's what's causing the delay, because I was watching somebody that was streaming yesterday and they were talking about it. I'm like, aha, that's it. I mean, I checked all my settings. I couldn't figure out why the delay seemed to be longer than usual, and I think that's what it is. So, I'm going to test something out over the next few days and see if I can't change my setup around a little bit. I mean, no matter what, you kind of have to have a second phone. Can't avoid that. But I think I might be switching things around. Hopefully, improving the lag time. That's my goal. Because it's working. But, you know, sometimes I feel like it's just doesn't flow as smoothly as it could if we were maybe only 5 seconds behind instead of 15, 1, 30. Anyway, I'm going to look into that. And I'm going to create a video where I just kind of go over how this setup works. Because I think you'd probably be interested in, like, what does this guy do? Like, does he just put his phone on? And that is what I did. Initially, what I did was I just put the phone on the window, hit, create a live stream, and boom, that was it. So, which is what I would recommend for anybody that wanted to start doing this, because it doesn't really cost you anything, except maybe a suction cup holder for your wherever you want to put your camera. But so I do think initially that's probably the best thing to do, because you might try it and decide you don't like it. And if that's the case, you didn't really lose anything. But anyway, so more to come. Constant improvement. So I think it's kind of cool that we're always finding ways to kind of improve the process. But so I got a question, and I didn't know the answer yet, but I do know the answer now. Somebody asked about whether the bakery has any online ordering capabilities. And unfortunately, we don't. And I think it's mainly because it's very difficult to deliver a quality bakery item through the mail. Like cookies can break, cakes, eclair. Some of the stuff really should be refrigerated, so that adds a whole different level of packaging. So they haven't done that. And she kind of mentioned that she's tried to mail some cookies and things like that to relatives sometimes, but even that's hit or miss on the quality. And that is one of the things that the bakery certainly does pride itself on, is the stuff is top quality stuff. So I think as far as being a regular thing, I don't know. I'll keep trying to bat something around in the back of my head about that. But as far as like being able to go online and order stuff from the bakery, there doesn't look like that's something that we are able to do, unfortunately. But I might be up for a long road trip to deliver some baked goods. See, there's a thought there. Imagine that. Now, I don't see myself doing a cross country, but what's a couple hours? That'd be kind of fun, actually. Somebody buys a cake, and I deliver the cake to them. And it would be somebody, if one of my YouTube friends buys the cake, and they're okay being on camera, right? So it could be like a whole thing. I could drive and deliver the cake. That'd be interesting. How far could I go? See, this is where I get myself in trouble because my mind does not stop. So I'm going to figure something out. I can feel that I'll figure something kind of out. My first thought is like, you know, Dough Dash. I'll call myself Dough Dash. Donut Dash. No, I don't want to use the word dash. I'm going to come up with a name for that. And then I got that, and then the other thing I want to do eventually is, you know, hand cookies out. I want to make this van as popular as the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. That's my goal. I'll create a vehicle that looks like a big donut. So it's 18. Oh, what was it earlier? Was it 19 earlier? It's 18 degrees right now. It is going to be a sunny day today, and it's going to go up to 32. That is extremely exciting. I've got some stuff. I need to like spend some time in my car and get things set up the way I want them to be. It's been so cold that I haven't, you know, here's an example of what I'm talking about. I got this new car last month because I'd hit the deer, and the repair for hitting the deer was going to cost enough money that I thought, you know what, the heck with it. It was, you know, that car was 2013, and I thought, you know, I could get a new car. Not a new car. I don't buy new cars. I buy used cars, by the way. So when I say new car, I'm really talking about a new car to me, but it's a used car. But anyway, so I did that, and it was delivered. It was delivered to me. I bought it online. It came from Illinois, and it was delivered on Christmas Day. I don't know if I mentioned that on my stream before. I didn't particularly recommend, you know, I didn't ask or request that it be delivered on Christmas Day, but it was. So Christmas morning, sounds like some kind of weird story, but it's true. On Christmas morning, the trailer thing pulled up and rolled my car off, and there I was. Anyway, so here's something that I haven't figured out yet. My car, if I go over the speed limit, it makes like this chime, like ding, you know, it does like this noise. And anytime you go over, so like let's say the speed limit is 50 miles an hour, it'll go, you know, you go to 51, it goes bing, and then, you know, like I was like when I first started driving, I was like, this is so annoying because. Like, and then if you went back down to 50, but you back to 51, so every time you cross that threshold, it made this chime. And I'm like, no, I can't do this. So I looked it up, and it is possible to either adjust it, you know, so that it only chimes if you're 5 miles over the speed limit or 10 miles over the speed limit, or you can turn it off completely. So I haven't really decided whether I'm going to turn it off completely or set it to the 10 miles over the speed. I'm not doing 5. But right now it has no limit at all. So as soon as you go over by 1 mile an hour, it chimes. Now, after I've said all that, I'm going to tell you something. This morning, I'm halfway up to the bakery, and the thought crossed my mind that, you know, it's warm enough today. Maybe I can like go out, like sit in the car and play around with that. But then it dawned on me that like I'm not even noticing the chime anymore. Like, it's so weird. I don't even notice it. It was bugging the crap out of me for, the first, I don't know, week. I don't know when I stopped hearing it, but I just don't hear it anymore. It happens. Like, after I thought this to myself, I'm like, is it still doing it? So I intentionally went over the speed limit, by a mile an hour. And it did the chime, but I'm not hearing it anymore. Like, how crazy is that? It's amazing what your brain can do. Like, anyway, I was astonished by that. I walked in the bakery this morning and they had I'm not sure I want to post this picture on my community board, but they had a picture of me on the computer screen from like when I was in my early 20s. And apparently they've decided I'm Employee of the Month for January. And so, yeah, there I was. I had that whole 80s hairstyle thing going. I used to go to the same hairstylist lady. The place was called the Hair Garage. And it was pretty close to where I lived in Reisterstown. This lady owned it. Her name was Rosemary Salcone. And she was the one that cut my hair. Like, I didn't go in and say I want the owner to cut my hair, but for whatever reason, that's how it worked out. And so she cut my hair from like when I was, I don't know, 15 or 16 until I was in my 40s. She was the only person I'd never let, that was it. She was the only person that cut my hair for all of those years. But unfortunately, she passed away. Now I cut my own hair, which if you had told me when I was in my 20s that at some point in time I was going to cut my own hair, I would have said no, it's not possible. Only Rosemary could touch my head. But now I'm doing it. I started cutting my own hair during COVID. And I've never gone back to a barbershop since. Because I bought the equipment. Like, I was thinking, I got to cut my hair. I mean, even though I'm stuck at home, people could see me because we were doing Zoom calls. Or we were actually doing Teams calls. Teams is like the Microsoft version of Zoom. And so we were on Teams. So everybody we'd do our meetings. We'd all be on screen. So you couldn't really I still wore a button-down shirt. I did the whole thing. I tried to look. I did walk on my treadmill though, most of the time while I was working. But I looked like I was in an office if you were looking at me from the camera. I really am. I got the weave thing going for my conversations. I was sitting here just now thinking, how did I get to Zoom calls? And it was because of my haircut. But I had to cut my hair, and I was like, our barbershop was not opening. And now if Rosemary was still around, she would have had her serious customers over to her house, because when she retired and was working from home toward the end, and she only kept like a handful of us, so she was still cutting her hair. even when she was retired. But she had a room set up at her house. Air garage. Traffic's pretty good. Monday morning, it looks like everybody's back. Whoa, why are we slowing down? Of course, as soon as I said that, the traffic slowed down. That's pretty funny. No, we passed the sign that said 6 miles, 6 minutes. That's my sign that I'm going to take the highway all the way down. If that ever indicates that there's some kind of accident. Yesterday, the day before, somebody asked about, like, do I use a mapping, like, and I don't need, like, I know all the routes. It's not like, you know, if you were thinking about DoorDash or a delivery person that's making deliveries to different places, but I'm going to the same establishments every day. So I know how to, you know, get there, even alternative routes and all that kind of stuff. So I really would only need to use mapping or traffic information to alert me if there was some kind of whoa, did you hear that? I think those brakes have a name. Whether, you know, I needed to be alerted to some kind of, well, excuse me. Maybe give me a chance to get over. Like one morning, but here's what I find kind of interesting. Like Google, when you go into Google and you map out your trip, it'll tell you the best route, and then if there's heavy traffic, it'll alert you to that, right? When you're looking at the map in Google's, you can sit in Google, you can see, you know, if there's an accident or there's backups or that kind of thing. So one morning, the bakery about 5 or 10 minutes ahead of me, and he was going down to the restaurant depot to pick up some supplies. So he would be taking this route, and he sent me a message and just said, hey, you know, there's an accident at the Beltway and 795, which is where we're coming up on that now. So I didn't go this way because I knew there was this accident. Well, when I got to Lenny's, I'm like, should I go my normal way to Lenny's, which would take me past that area, or should I go a different way? So I was trying to determine that, and I pulled up Google to see if the accident was still, you know, causing backups, and it looked like it wasn't. Pulled up the map, everything looked fine. So I went, but it was still a problem. I mean, I still had to, like, go a different way. So in that particular case, it didn't help me out the way I needed it to. Should have just gone by Bob's heads up. But I do look at that. There's a sign that I pass every single day as we go by that exit, about 2 exits ago. We go by that exit, it says how long it takes to get down to this intersection. It will say 6 miles, 6 minutes. And as long as it says 6 miles, 6 minutes, that means the traffic is flowing normally. If it ever says anything higher than that, even if it says 7 minutes, I don't go this way. I get off at the next exit and go down a different way, take a different route. Because if it says 7 minutes, that means something happened. So 7 minutes is very likely, as traffic gets heavier, it's going to become 8 minutes and then 9 minutes and then, you know. So if it's anything other than 6 and 6, I go the other way. This section of the road is completely open now, but it took a few days to get that way. There used to be snow in this lane. This snow is really kind of interesting because it's been so cold that everything that's plowed, like everything along the roadway here and all the mounds of snow that you see, they're just really hard. They're like mountains of ice, basically, is what they are. It's pretty heavy and solid. It would be like, I mean, it wouldn't be like hitting a concrete wall, but it would be like hitting a hard wall, a wooden wall, maybe. It wouldn't be good for your car to hit this. You wouldn't. It could probably do some damage. But underneath of it, so if you go to, like, if you look back at your, you know, when I look at my yard, the top, my dog AJ just walks straight across the top of the snow because it's I don't know how thick it is anymore, but it's a totally thick crust of ice on top. Underneath, I don't know what's happening because the original snow was like extremely fluffy, light snow. So maybe that's been compressed down a little bit. I don't know. His feet don't even break through at all anymore. Like in the first couple of days, every now and then, his one paw would kind of break through. So he was walking kind of gingerly across the yard. But now it doesn't matter. I could probably walk on it now and it wouldn't break through. I might test that out. Because over the course of the past week, you know, he's been doing his business out there. It's sitting on top of the snow, so it's pretty obvious, right? Because the snow is white. And his business is not. If it was, that would be a problem. But today, we might get some melting today. If we get to 32 and the sun's out, we could actually see some melting going on. On Lenny's Deli. It's actually a pretty famous deli here in Owens Mills. been around forever. Somebody's out here collecting the trash. Pretty early. All right. I'll leave this on again today when we go in. All right, here we go. Get a sip of coffee. Look, we're missing a car. There's usually a car there. There's a giant ball of snow right by the back of the van. Perfect spot. All right, there is somebody there. Let me back. Somebody's in the deli. Good morning. How are you? Thank you. I think it is funny that you can hear me all the way back here.
What is that? My water there? Yeah.
Hey guys, how you doing? Good morning. Thank you. Rolling. Monday morning. Let's see what paper we're using today. Press box is what it's called. Wow, this thing is $12.25. Seriously? Is somebody really going to buy one of these? No. I wonder what that means. I'm so paranoid about this tray. This rack is on top of the steps. As I load it up, I can only imagine the catastrophe that would occur if it rolled down. Have I mentioned one time I did take the camera out of the van? This was like back in the fall. And I'm going to do this again. But I was so traumatized by it that I haven't done it yet. I took the camera out and I was going to like show you how I unload the van, blah, blah, blah. So I started.
+6448 says, good morning, Craig.
Good morning. I heard somebody say good morning. So I was unloading the trays and the rack started to roll away from the van. And I almost dropped the tray. Like right there. The first time I've ever taken the camera out, this was like last year. So I haven't done it again since. But I will. I actually got rid of that tripod. I had a little tripod that I thought was great, but I ended up not liking it. All right, that's... Okay, the rack's loaded up. These have to be free. What is that? $12. Of course, that would explain why there was always a whole stack of them there. I've never seen the stack ever go down. So maybe they are supposed to be. Thank you. Yesterday's trays. All right, man, have a good day.
It's good.
Delivery number 1. Complete. Tala, how are you? I heard you say hello while I was out there, but I couldn't see who it was. It is much nicer out today. I mean, I gotta admit, what are we up to? Oh, we're still 19. It is crazy that 19 degrees feels good. All right, off. Stop 2, Gourmet Girls. Now we're driving by the gym, and it's February. And we've got 3 cars out here today. So a month ago, we were driving through quite a few more cars than that. So I think it's happened, everybody. It's happened. We're back to normal.
+6448 says all good. I didn't realize you weren't in the truck.
Yeah, no, I know. It's weird because I keep the microphone on my shirt. I haven't decided whether I'm always going to do that, but I kind of like it. I don't really have. I have to remember it's there because you can hear every noise I make. But it's kind of cool because then I don't have to leave the van and go, all right, I'll catch up with that conversation when I'm done. So when I had the door of the van open, I could hear you. I heard you say hello. It's the speakers in here, but.
+6448 says Mondays are usually slow at gyms also.
Yeah. But this is. Last month, everybody was in their, New Year's resolution frame of minds. So I think last month, even Mondays, they had a pretty good crowd because everybody was like, oh, this is it. It's 2026. I'm going to get back in shape. it was that after the holiday thing. Because even the volume, the orders for the deliveries that I'm making had significantly gone down for a couple of weeks there. I know. Sometimes I think I should flip the camera. I should flip the camera when I'm making a delivery. So you're looking at the van.
Plus6448 says New Year resolutions are bad for donut sales. That's the real test.
It is. You're right. We're going through. It is bad for donut sales. Good for gyms and bad for donut sales. But it appears that by February things get back to normal. I think the groundhog comes up at like 7:30ish. I think that's normally the time that they do that. It's probably after. Yeah, I'm probably going to be done. I'm right on time this morning, so I don't think, unless we run into some kind of delay, I probably won't still be driving at 7:30. Probably be a little after 7 when I'm done. We won't know.
6448 says maybe that would be a good business model. A gym that sells donuts. Good sales either way.
Yeah. Yes. There you go. That's true. You'd have a consistent clientele. I'm like, oh, I don't want to work out today. I'm just going to eat a donut. Just going to eat a donut. You know, I think donuts are good for you. They've got eggs, milk. Sugar's not really, well, it is probably bad for you. I don't think it's awful. Chocolate. Chocolate's actually good for you. Dark chocolate. Here we go. All right, let's see it now.
Plus6448 says I thought about going to the groundhog event here but too cold and lazy.
Yeah, it is too cold. How far are you from? Oh, look, do you see the moon up there? That's yesterday was a full moon, so we're still pretty close. And it's extremely clear. That's going to be good later. When we're going up the highway, you're going to be able to see that. I would do
Horse
that.
says good morning.
Hey, good morning. How you doing, Teal Horse? I would do that. I would go to see the groundhog. Let me see if the door's unlocked. For my delivery here. They haven't been. I wouldn't keep it unlocked, but for a long time it used to be unlocked. Unlocked. All right, let me call them. But the audio is going to drop while I'm on the phone here, so just bear with me. There it is. Gourmet girls. Here we go. All right. She's coming. She's coming to the door. She got it. All right. Take this. So there are two different places I leave our stuff in this. Good morning.
Says hello and Nigel. But Teal Horse says hey Nigel.
Nigel. I love the way she says and why go. I gotta teach that lady how to pronounce your names. All right, see you later. Okay, 2 down. Two down, 1 to go. I think when I'm walking the refrigerator, so there's 2 places that we leave deliveries in there. The Danish and cookies and things go up front because I think they just unpack them right there. And then the eclairs or the cakes go in the refrigerator. But I think when I go in the refrigerator, I think the microphone loses its connection. I think it did that once. Maybe it doesn't do it all the time. Something about being in that giant.
6448 says that one seemed quick. And Teal Horse says nice.
There we go. Yeah, that's pretty quick. They just take their deliveries in boxes. They don't do the racks. So what does everybody think? Do you think that the groundhog is going to see a shadow today? I think he will. We got clear skies here in Maryland. I think it's clear up in Pennsylvania. I think they live stream it, don't they? I'm almost positive they do.
The horse says I think he will.
Yeah, me too. So that means it'll be 6 more weeks of winter, which someone pointed out recently is how long it is anyway. Like, I guess, I didn't look it up on the calendar, but that sounds about right. Like, it's actually is 6 weeks until
Plus
spring.
6448 says they should use light rings just to be sure. Everyone is sick of winter.
I know. I know, this has been a cold one. We even had, remember, I think it was in December. Like, wasn't there a stretch in December where it was ridiculously cold? And then it got a little better at the beginning of January, and then it dipped down again. But for Maryland, at least, the next 4 or 5 days look like they're going to be fairly decent. At least we'll be in the 30s.
The horse says I saw THF.
These people really dug out their driveways pretty well. Have you seen all the, I don't know why.
Plus 6448 says oh. I thought it was the opposite. If he sees the shadow, it's early spring.
I think the shadow means you get
333
6
says
more
it will
weeks.
probably be more long weeks of winter for the little critter.
Yeah. Poor little guy. I wonder
The
if
horse says that remark but can't remember who pointed it out.
I mean, it is true, but I think that the idea is the cold weather. And we're not out of the woods yet. I mean, February, we've had some of the biggest storms I remember were in February. So, but we are at least halfway there. January, February are the 2 months that are most likely to give you trouble.
Plus 6448 says does anyone remember when the mayor of NYC dropped the groundhog?
Yeah, I do remember that. Didn't that groundhog end up dying? I don't think it died right on the spot. Maybe it didn't die at all. That might have been a rumor. I just kind of remember that. That was de Blasio, wasn't it? The tall guy. So he had a long way to fall. I mean, it would have been a little better at least.
333 says I don't remember. At Teal Horse says oh no. At Nigel 333 says I died.
Is it the same groundhog or do they use a different
Plus
groundhog every year?
6448 says unfortunately, yes a few days later.
It was. Okay. So he did die. I wonder why it was like a few days later. Like, what happened? See, now I'm picturing that they like took him to the hospital and he's like in a hospital bed with an IV.
Plus 6448 says Yep de Blasio.
Trying to keep him alive.
Plus 333 says that's sad.
It is sad. It definitely is. Yesterday I was watching. Have you seen the deer? There's a live stream. Somebody, I think they live in Maine, has like a field where he feeds the deer, and there's a couple cameras they have.
333 says, have you seen Bob the Buck lately?
No, I haven't seen him lately. I'm wondering how well a deer. I didn't clip that and put it. I was gonna.
Plus 6448 says yeah, or they kept it hush hush for a few days.
Yeah, it might have just been hush hush. It's like we can't let anybody know that he killed the groundhog. And then they're like, well, people are asking about the groundhog. What are you gonna do? You know, somebody wants a picture of the groundhog with a newspaper next to it, showing the date, like a hostage scene. Couldn't go on. Although, you know, you could have just grabbed another groundhog. I mean, nobody's going to really know. I mean, maybe this sounds speciesist, but most groundhogs look the same. That car is.
So 333 says, do they catch one every year?
Well, they kind of bring him out of this box, right? So, like, I don't.
Plus 6448 says, I know a lot of people have bird feeder cams.
Oh, yeah, bird feeder camps, too. I've seen them. Once you look at one of those cams, you're going to get all of them put up on your homepage. I think I've seen some of those bird cams, though, that are AI. They're not really birds, I think. They're pretty close.
So 333 says maybe the contract with a groundhog farm.
Could be. That'd be kind of cool. If you could say you were the keeper of the groundhog. Groundhogs are really, I think my brother was a groundhog in his yard one time. It's either a groundhog or some kind of mole, but there was something that was like digging, and you'd actually see it.
6448 says, I think they are in zoos. Pretty sure the one in Staten Island is.
Groundhog in a zoo? Whoops. It's not very safe. See that guy walking and running, I guess.
A horse says at Nigel funny. At Nigel 333 says they are cute.
They are cute. Which is, I guess that's why we don't have, like, Possum Day. Because possums are not that cute. They're cute when they're little. And, you know, possums, what's it called, a marsupial? The ones that have their babies and then keep them in a pouch. That's what possums do that. I recently...
Michael 333 says laugh out loud.
One of the ladies I work with, I think it was her boyfriend found a possum that had been hit by a car on the side of the road, and I think the mother had passed away.
The horse says yes they do.
But the babies, she had babies in her pouch, and they actually saved the babies.
333 says yay, those are the only creations of God I don't think are cute, unfortunately, the possums.
Yeah, the possums just don't. Well, I don't know if they're the only thing that's cute, but they're up there. They're up there with the uncute ones.
At Nigel 333 says I mean IDK, maybe they are.
Well, and they have the kind of a rat tail.
6448 says I'll decide if they are cute or not depending on if he predicts an early spring or not.
Oh, groundhogs? Groundhogs can be cute. Raccoons are cute. They got that little face. You know, raccoons, I heard recently that raccoons are evolving and they're becoming friendlier. So, like maybe I don't know how long in the future, but let's say 100 years. I'm just making that up. But like, apparently they are turning into animals that could be
333 says prairie dogs are cute too.
pets. Yeah, prairie dogs are very cute. I like how they pop their heads up really fast. Hyenas are not cute. Hyenas, I guess, are they in the dog family? Like, are they considered in that family? Because if they are, I'd have to say they're the one kind of dog that they're not cute. And they're not nice either. I think they're mean. Pretty vicious. It's not like you could have a hyena as a pet. But I think
333
someday
says agree, I was gonna them too. Ed Horse says don't see any stuffiness of them for kids.
are gonna make it.
Horse says stuffies. At Nigel 333 says yay, they will eat you.
Which one? The hyena? The hyenas will eat you. I remember thinking when I was growing up, you got to be careful because raccoons can be kind of vicious, and rabies. Rabies was a big thing with raccoons. But apparently they're making a comeback. They're turning around.
At Nigel 333 says yes.
Yeah, I'm a dog guy. Gotta have a dog.
6448 says a lot of animals are like that. They are becoming more domestic, but sometimes it's not good. They lose their natural defense methods.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They become too dependent. Like, even if you think about it, even this, I thought about that once too with the deer that are up in this.
333
guys,
says raccoons are cute. I would have one if tamed law.
They are cute. But with the deer that are up in this guy's yard, or on his property, like he's feeding them constantly. There are all these troughs of food that they all come and stand. But like, if he wasn't around, like I guess they'd know what to do. But you're right, you don't want to make them too dependent.
Says I heard a lot of wild animals are attracted to bakery vans full of donuts.
You would think. If they have a good sense of smell, they should be. Look at that moon. That moon is really bright. There's been a lot of discussion about, I think they were bringing it up again.
333 says not fully anymore. Holla, I'm back here.
There were some discussions last night on John's live stream about the Earth being flat and the moon, and like people were questioning why we only see one side of the moon, and I think that's probably a good question. Like
6448 says at Nigel. Nigel 333 says nom nom.
I still have all the donuts. I think I have less than 100 donuts today, though. Yesterday they got a lot of donuts, but I think Mondays, they get a delivery every single day, so usually the Monday, Tuesdays are a little bit less. Builds up as the week goes on. That moon, that's very impressive. I got fooled yesterday when
6448 says, do a lot of people still work remote there?
Still, yes. I think there's still quite a bit of that. Some of the bigger companies have tried really hard to get people to come back.
333 says chasing the moon.
We are chasing the moon. Like one of the...
A teal horse says that moon is nice.
It is. It is very... I mean, I think yesterday technically was the full moon, but it's looking pretty full today. Like one of the big office complexes in Owings Mills, Maryland, which is close to that Lenny's Bakery, is T. Rowe Price. If you've heard of it, they were like a mutual fund company. So a lot of people would know them through like their 401k plans and stuff. But T. Rowe Price has, I think, tried pretty hard to get their employees to come back, but I bet I don't know what the percentage is, but I think they still have a pretty good percentage that work from home. Because a lot of their positions were like customer service and people that are taking calls from the retirees. Oh, we're doing it. We're doing it. Yeah, I think that some of the bigger companies are having a tough time getting people to come back. 100%. Which I think is a shame. I didn't like. I My job was prior. My career was business, and it was I could work from home very easily. So COVID, which was very fortunate during COVID, but I did not like working. I just don't like. I liked being in an office. I mean, not that I particularly liked that whole office slash cubicle world, but I did like being around people. I didn't like, just working from home. I didn't like that. I don't think you really, in an office environment where people are like learning from each other, training each other, bouncing ideas off each other. I think you lose an awful lot of that when everybody is remote. You can try to do it through Zoom and stuff like that, but it's not the same.
Alice 6448 says I think Monday and Friday are the most popular remote days.
Yep, I agree. Friday being the most popular, but yeah, Monday is a close runner-up.
Well, 333 says I work remotely but now doing side gig with DoorDash.
Yeah, I just like being out. Like I know a lot of people kind of think it's a hassle, but I like getting up, going to someplace to work, and then that's the other thing. I think when you work from home, it's harder to separate yourself from your work. It's so easy to go, oh, okay, I can just, answer some emails, or I can do this, or I can do that. And it's harder to, it's better if you have like a specific room.
6448 says I couldn't work remotely. I worked throughout the whole time.
Oh, you weren't able to work? Yeah. Well, and that's just it. I mean, there are people that can't. It's not possible. And imagine.
Horse says I'm retired but worked part-time at the library because I miss people.
Well, that's exactly why I started doing this. I couldn't, I like having a schedule.
Says I'm always alone, rarely see anyone and like it lol.
You like it? Yeah, I didn't like it. Well, but you're out, you're online, you're talking to people, so it's just that you're not able. I think in a work environment, it's just more beneficial to have your coworkers around you. For me, at least, it was. But yeah, you can connect with people through the internet. I mean, think about it. If COVID happened and we didn't have the internet, whew, that would have been a completely different experience.
Well, 333 says yeah, I like to be alone.
I like to be alone. I do.
Plus 6448 says you're killing me with the moon. I was standing out in the cold last night waiting for it, but it was too cloudy.
Oh yeah, it's very clear this morning. Yesterday it wasn't cloudy, but it was like maybe a haze. It wasn't quite as clear.
Says yes, I wouldn't be eating all your donuts in the back without internet.
All right, let's see if they're going to open the door. I don't think they are today. got people that drive through. So normally, but I'm gonna call them here. Let's do it. Call. What a day. Okay. Audio's gonna drop for a second. Look, they answered the door. I mean, they answered the phone today. She's on her way. Head over there. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Wow, you went through all those donuts yesterday. You're busy?
Very good.
That's good. Good morning. They usually have a few donuts left over from the day before, but they've got nothing.
Horse says I was working 25 but left about 5 years ago to take care of my mom 24/7. Call a 6448 says I am kind of glad I worked through the pandemic. I think staying home would be worse for me.
Trees. I just remember how scary, like, remember when the pandemic started? And like you were seeing, I just remember seeing pictures of like hospitals with, like refrigerator trucks outside and stuff. I was like freaking out. All right, load it up. On it. All right, have a great day.
Thank you, too.
Let me go check this out here. Finger bleeding here. Hold on. Okay. I think I hit it on a tray or something. I remember with the pandemic, I remember working from home and I could, I was sitting there looking out the window and you'd see like the mailman, all the people that you don't really see if you're working in an office during the week. Mailman, the garbage men, all the people that are like doing stuff through the neighborhood all the time. Tree. What I hit my finger on. Door dashing should be fun. What'd I miss?
Horse says I was glad my mom could live with us instead of being alone in a home where no visitors were allowed. At Hala 6448 says and then they called us essential until it was time for a raise.
Yeah. Well, that is good that your mom was able to stay, or you were able to stay with her. Yeah, that was really that was an awful part of the whole pandemic. I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about it.
Hala 6448 says how long are you dashing?
Who's dashing? I can get gas this morning. We're going to stop on the way back. So we're on our way back to the bakery now. All 3 deliveries have been made. I don't know if you can see this, but
Hala 6448 says yes. At Teal Horse that is a blessing. At Fred Wagoner 1561 says good morning buddy.
Fred, what are you doing? Staying warm? Do you guys see the antenna on this car ahead of me? I don't know, it's so thin. I don't know if you can see it.
Hala 6448 says NYGAL is dashing.
NY. Oh, see, now when you spelled it out that way, she knew to say NYGAL. That's funny. Happy Groundhog's Day, Fred.
The horse says morning Fred. At Nigel333 says lunch and dinner rush. Wagoner1561 says it's going to be 48 today.
Wow.
Paula6448 says good morning at Fred Wagoner.
48. That's nice. Whew. Dream about 48 degrees. Isn't that funny? Like if this was August or September and you said it was going to be 48 degrees, everybody would be like, oh no, that's so cold.
Wagoner1561 says good morning all.
Sun's coming up, slowly but surely. We're about 45 minutes from the most important event of the day.
At Nigel333 says right we still in the negatives.
Ugh. I don't even want to think about the negatives. I think that maybe that's why, like, why did we come up with the whole Fahrenheit thing? Does anybody know the reason for that? Every time I think about the Celsius and Fahrenheit, though, I think about that one comedian, Nate Bigazzi. Is that how you say his last name? Bigazzi?
24. Carlitos says good morning. What time do you start working?
This morning we started at 5. So usually like by 5:15 I leave the bakery.
+6448 says it's all relative. What we get used to.
True.
At Fred Wagoner1561 says Southern Illinois the weather changes constantly. 48 today and could be 0 tomorrow.
It's nice though. I'd take it.
333 says it's currently -7, real feel -16.
Oh, no. And you're talking Fahrenheit. That's what's crazy. Like, sometimes you'll hear people in Europe or Canada.
6448 says good morning Carlitos.
You'll hear people in Canada or Europe talk about negative something. It sounds like it's really cold, but they're talking Celsius. But yeah, Fahrenheit, oof. That's cold. Why did we do that? Does anybody know the reason why we decided that we weren't going to do Celsius?
At Teal Horse says morning Carlitos. Before. Carlitos says good morning.
Morning all. I'm going to attempt to make the lag less, considerably less. That's my goal for this week. Try and come up with a way so that when you type something, I hear it faster than 15 to 30 seconds later.
333 says I don't know, but I think C is weird law.
You think Celsius is weird? Yeah, but that's...
6448 says I don't like negative talk, especially when weather is involved.
True.
A Teal Horse says I guess because we're the only country that doesn't use it.
I know. I don't understand why we... I mean, did we just we're like, hey, we don't want to be like -3 or -7. So we're going to put the, I don't know how they came up with it. Feels like that's something I should know.
333 says yes, cause we have F.
Because we have F. We have the F in temperature. I don't know. But if you haven't seen it, you need to watch the.
At Sean White
it's
says good morning off to MH.
You have to watch a Saturday Night Live skit that Nate Bagazzi, I'm not sure how you say his last name, but he's a comedian.
Says Sean.
He's extremely funny.
At Sean White says morning off to my full-time job.
Hey Sean, good to see you.
At Fred Wagoner 1561 says it was the standard temperature reading in the British Empire and they just kept it whenever they organized the American colonies. At Nigel 333 says Google says cause it's a historical, cultural reason.
Oh, so we didn't really make it up. We brought it over with us. Okay. Okay. Well, I feel a little better about that. But it's a very funny skit. Basically,
6448 says how did you get that? Is it a separate text-to-speech app?
it is. It's separate. It's called Stream Buddy, I think. But I don't think the delay is because of that app. I thought that's probably what was delaying the time between when you type something and I hear it. But I think the delay.
White says you're like a minute or more delay.
Yeah, it gets kind of bad. Well, Sean, I use
333 says it says the scale is more intuitive for daily weather.
I use Prism. And I heard you yesterday talking about how Prism has a delay. So I'm going to try to figure out how to stop using Prism. I need it because of the way YouTube's app works on your phone. But I'm going to try to figure out a workaround. Because if you do YouTube on your phone, you can't do anything else on your phone.
6448 says I remember being in grade school and everybody was in a panic because we were supposed to go to totally metric within 2 years. 40 years later, it still hasn't happened.
I know. I remember that. I was part of that too. We were all freaking out. We were trying to learn it. But it's a very American thing not to learn other people's stuff. Like we don't really, like other countries put a lot of effort into learning English. But we really don't. It's funny when you think about it. We kind of expect everybody to know English. And they do. But it sort of works out that way with Fahrenheit and Celsius too.
John White says I think it's Prism. At Fred Wagoner 1561 says I still don't understand the metric system. And I'm like you guys, I was in school whenever they wanted to start it.
Yeah, Sean, I agree about it's Prism. Prism Live. I mean, it's a decent app, but
6448 says good morning at Sean White.
But it does have a delay on it. But I really don't. I couldn't read the text while I was driving. And I'm not making enough stops to catch up. So I got to figure out a way to make that work better. Sean, do you have like a super long commute to work if you're still on? I feel like I've heard you say you have like a really long ride.
Alice 6448 says, but we are in between now. Milk is in quart, but soda is liter. Horse says that traffic is sure picking up.
Here? Yeah.
At Hollis 6448 says, I think it's great, the text to speech. I'd like to do it.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it makes it possible to do this. I saw it, I learned about it on a, like before I even started doing this, I think I ran across a truck driver, like an 18-wheeler type, what do they call them? Over the road hauler or whatever. And he was driving along and was able to talk to the people in his chat because he was listening to this, like this. And that's what made me think, hey, I could probably do that in the delivery van. But it was a little trickier to set up. Although I noticed, I've gone back and watched him a couple of times, and he's got it. I mean, he's been doing it for a long time, so he's more like John. He's got like 100 and some people in the room and stuff, and there's a lot more conversation. I noticed there's a lot more conversation like between the people. Like he's not always chiming in that much. I think I talk too much. That's part of the problem. But I think there's a delay for him. I don't know what he uses for his broadcasting. He was the one that told me he used Starlink. That's what made me head towards Starlink, because my cell connection, like it's too rural
Carlito
out here.
says, at what time is your shift ends?
Well, I'm going to stop and get gas this morning. So I'll probably get back to the bakery at like quarter after.
Says OTR.
Over the road, yeah. I'll probably get back to the bakery like quarter after 7:30, somewhere in there. So that'll be the end of my drive. And some days I stay back at the bakery and help out. But I don't think they need me today. This was. Yeah, so I get home by like 8 o'clock, 8:30. Like when I'm pulling in my driveway and I'm done for the day. Some of my neighbors are just leaving to go to work. Yeah, so today's driving takes me about 2.5 hours. Tomorrow is one delivery. Tomorrow's Tuesday, right? Yeah, tomorrow's a one delivery day usually. That's just about an hour. And then I was going to put my schedule somewhere on the site.
6448 says, no, you're great. I like your stream.
Yeah, I like being able to, it's fun. I mean, it's fun now that, believe me, I did this for a long time. Nobody was watching. It was kind of funny. All right, now I'm going to drop the stream. I mean, it's going to drop because of the gas station, but I should be coming back. back? My back? My back.
Same thing, neighbors going to work and I was getting home, but it worked out. I'd take their parking spots. A teal horse says back.
I'm back? Okay, good. Thought I would be. It's weird because the music that I'm playing in the car is connected to the internet. It's not going through a phone. So it must just be that, you know, the power that's needed to do a live stream is not adequate under there. I love the moon over the Lowe's sign.
Bill 333 says I am enjoying the music.
Yeah, this is called Dramatic Orchestra Epic. That's the name of this song. The moon is trying to blend in with the traffic lights now. It's like I'm gonna hide over here under the traffic lights so nobody notices.
At Hollis 6448 says it is epic.
It is epic. It was epic. All these songs, I've noticed that songs, these license-free songs that I have to play, are they're all kind of short. Like they're 2 minutes, maybe 2 minutes, 30 seconds. This one's 53 seconds. It's called Slow, and it is slow. Like, what's the point of it? It's not even, it's not even a song. But it's funny. YouTube is very, very, I mean, it's all automated. But man, if they hear any music, you get a, I don't know when you get a strike against your channel, but they do come up and warn you. I mean, I get messages all the time. Every one of my videos, for the most part, says they've reviewed it.
Hollis 6448 says I hope I can get a clear shot of the moon tonight. I try to make a short each full moon.
Well, it's just going down now, right? So it's probably coming up a little bit later. But yeah, hopefully you'll see that. Should still be pretty big. I like the moon. I like to get up and watch if there's a full eclipse. I like that. Did you all see the recent solar eclipses? They were pretty cool.
The horse says hope all of you have a great day. I need to leave for now. Enjoy.
Glad you stopped by. Have a great, hope your day goes good. School buses stop. You know, when school buses stop at a railroad track, they have to open their door. I wonder what the reason is for that.
Hollis 6448 says take care at Teal Horse, stay safe and warm. At Nigel 333 says have a great Monday, Teal. 6448 says I used to know why they do that. I still have my CDL, but I forgot.
Understand 1,000% sure that there's no train coming. That part I get. I just think it's weird that they open the door. Is it like maybe some kids don't want to ride the bus across the train track, so they have a chance to get out? I don't know. It's weird. I remember when they would have like, I guess it was sort of like a fire drill for your school bus. And we'd all have to jump out the back.
333 says maybe to get fresh air.
Yeah. Yeah. But did anybody ever have to do that? I remember jumping out of the back of the school bus when they would have like fire drills. It wasn't like a real emergency. I never had that happen. But we used to have drills.
333 says or hear the train coming better.
Oh, maybe that could be it. Whoops. Let's let this car go by. Oh, see, that one slowed down, so then the other one could catch up. These guys don't realize they're pulled.
6448 says maybe just so the bus's stoplights go on because they are activated with doors.
Oh, they are. That's true too. The little stop signs come out. The lights start flashing. When I was little in elementary school, our bus driver was this lady.
6448 says yes.
Her
I
name,
think that's it. NYGAL.
her name was Miss Smith, Mrs. Smith. And she was kind of mean. Like everybody thought she was really mean. But I was determined to be friends with her. And by the time, I don't remember how long it took me to get to this point, but there was a time when I would actually kiss her goodbye. Like I made it such a point to be friendly with her that I got to the point where I would kiss my bus driver goodbye. She was an older lady, but it was kind of funny. Mrs. Smith. And then she got mad at us once because we threw snowballs at the bus when it went by. You know.
Michael 333 says so you were McLovin.
I was. Definitely was. Yeah, I think it could be.
Michael
Well,
333
depends
says
on where
laugh
you
out
are.
loud.
depending on where you were. Like, not sure I'd want to be a school bus driver. Maybe Maybe some areas it would still be, probably a lot of areas it would still be cool.
Six four four eight says NYPAL. I just checked your channel. You have an image of the full moon, right on top.
Was that a picture you took? The full moon I'm talking about. Cows are out. My cows are out.
At Nigel333 says yes sir, love that. Nigel333 says yes I took it, smiley face.
That's neat. I have a pretty decent telescope that I received as a gift years ago. It's like it's a pretty big unit. It's like, I don't know, 3 or 4 feet long and maybe 8-inch diameter, maybe. I think that's the number. It's a pretty big thing. I haven't used it for a while, but I always like looking up at the moon, Saturn, Jupiter. That's when I would normally say I've never seen, and then I'd say that one planet. That's if I was being immature.
Plus 6448 says it's a good job for retired people that want to be tied down because you do morning then afternoon, free in between.
It is a good job for that. You're right.
Plus 6448 says impressive NYGAL.
Really clear. You can tell the sky is really clear because the moon is so clear looking.
Plus 6448 says I went to a few solar watch events, using telescopes to view the sun.
Well, that sounds kind of cool. I presume they have all the appropriate filters.
Eagle 333 says that's amazing.
What the guy was looking at? The guy was like looking up at the sky, but that's not where the moon is. I was watching that guy stare at the sky.
Eagle 333 says go live again later, lol.
Who, me? Ran over some snow there. Okay. Today's Monday, so I don't know.
6448 says also went to night events, but many are computers tracking what you want to see. At Nigel333 says yes.
I used to go to planetariums. That was kind of cool too. Had a couple of them. There's one downtown, Science Center. They're always cool, but you're not looking at the real thing in those cases. All right, folks. Oh, look, what is this one called? We're ending with a cartoon.
Nigel333 says love planetarium.
How do you like this song? I feel like we should be walking through Disney World.
Nigel333 says have a great day.
All right, you all do the same. Maybe I'll see you online later. You never know. But I will be back on tomorrow at 6. I appreciate everybody for stopping in. It's fun. Love the chat. And yeah, I'll see you again tomorrow. Enjoy the day. Stay warm. And we're 10 minutes away. Might.
6448 says I haven't been in a long time. I should go the last time I went for laser shows.
Yeah, the planetarium. Definitely. Let's do it. All right, guys.
6448 says take care, stay warm.